The internet can be a terrifying place. Surely you don't need me to tell you that. The dark and unsettling stuff is available just at your fingertips, where you can explore never-ending bulk of creepy livestreams, disturbing events, gore videos, and supernatural sightings that will surely leave you disturbed. Today we will take a trip down the Google Maps rabbit hole. While it seems fun at first, it just might keep you up at night. We've all been spooked by out-of-the-ordinary shapes moving out of the corner of our eye, or a mysterious figure on the horizon. That's exactly what happened in this picture, which was originally posted on Reddit. Nothing seems out of the ordinary until you take a closer look. Peeking out from behind the tree trunk is the face of a girl. However, she seems like no ordinary child. While the rest of the colors in the shot seems perfectly vivid, the girl's face is ashen. But the terrifying nature of the image does not stop there. To the left of the pale-faced girl and behind a row of trees, gravestones can be seen. Among them, on close inspection, a hooded figure stands entirely dressed in black. People are left baffled. Some are convinced of supernatural existence, while others are just skeptical, claiming that the ghostly figure is actually a leaf stuck on the tree. If you ask me, this picture is definitely not fake. It is not possible to know for sure whether it's a glitch, child, or an actual supernatural being. But according to the Houston Chronicle, one of the news outlets that followed up the story, Martha Chapel Cemetery was built in the 1830s and is one of the oldest burial grounds in Walker County, East Texas. According to travel guide expert Dana Goolsby, the road that leads to the cemetery is nicknamed Demon's Road because of disturbing encounters and an eerie feeling that sweeps over anyone who dares disrupt the spirits said to be lingering. Some people even claim that they have seen large handprints left on their vehicles when visiting the cemetery. Since there's no scientific explanation, we can only keep speculating. So make sure to let me know what you think this is. I definitely want to hear your opinion on this picture. In 2016, a Redditor from England was planning his family's vacation and thought he had found the deal of a lifetime. But he first thought he'd do a little research of the hotel by taking a look via Google Street View. Turns out it's a good thing he did. At first glance, the Stuart Hotel and Pub in Liverpool, England, looks totally unremarkable, but if you take a closer look, there's a strange figure in the window on the top floor of the hotel, and that is definitely not a human face. I found out that the Stuart Hotel is one of the most famous haunted hotels in England. In addition to faces in the window, people have long reported hearing cries and screams in the middle of the night while staying in the hotel. I did some more digging and found out that in 1897, the landlord of the Stuart Hotel, Robinson Pemberton, investigated a strange scratching noise in the cellar of the pub and believed it was a rat. But then the noise became louder and was soon heard in neighboring houses. 3 days later, the pub was shaken from top to bottom, and the windows of the pub were left open in case the vibrations shattered the glass. The noise then suddenly stopped, but a drinker banged 3 times on the walls of the pub one night and received 3 knocks back. The sound of a distant bell was also heard, and it lasted for nearly a week. It wasn't until a priest from St. Mary's Church decided to leave a Bible in the cellar, and the noise was never heard again. Definitely one of the most controversial finds on Google Maps takes place on a working-class street in Cleveland, Ohio. 2208 Seymour Avenue was home to a man called Ariel Castro. However, this deeply disturbed individual was far from a casual working-class man. Ariel Castro held 3 females, Amanda Berry, Gina De Jesus, and Michelle Knight, captive for over a decade. Inside, authorities discovered tape and chains which were used to restrain the women, among other things they refused to disclose. To make matters worse, Ariel had a child with Amanda Berry and forced the other women to deliver it without the aid of a doctor. Upon realizing this, Google Maps blurred out the house, meaning you couldn't zoom into it no matter how hard you tried, unless you found a way around it and used Bing Maps like I did. However, according to reports, Castro's neighbors had contrasting opinions of him before his captives managed to escape. A local resident said the property was usually quiet, although, quote, sometimes you would hear music, but I would never see the man come out of there or hear any noises. It's just like he was there but not there. Another resident told the BBC that her granddaughter had seen a naked lady crawling in the backyard of his house and said, quote, what else got me was a little girl up in the attic window. Where did she come from? Who's her mother? You can now only assume that the girl was Miss Berry's child. I also found out that this picture was taken in 2009 by Google, and the creepiest thing by far is that in the time of taking this picture, the girls were still held captive in the house. In 2019, a man named Barry Fay decided to visit his old neighborhood in Wellington, Florida, via Google Earth. While searching through the community of Grand Isle, he discovered a strange shape in a large pond located on the housing development. It turned out to be a key lead to 22-year-old missing persons case. The man then contacted a current resident of Moonbay Circle to tell them what he had seen. The current resident confirmed there was a car in the pond and contacted the police. On the night of his disappearance, almost 24 years ago, the man left the club at about 11 p.m. local time. He was a quiet man who did not socialize much, did not appear intoxicated, and left alone in his vehicle. He also was not a frequent drinker, but did have several drinks at the bar, the report said. After calling his girlfriend at about 9:30 p.m. and telling her he would be home soon, he was never seen or heard from again. Upon retrieving the submerged vehicle from the pond, police confirmed that the skeletal remains belonged to then 40-year-old William Moult, who is presumed to have lost control of his car and drove into the pond. The police said that during the initial investigation into his disappearance, there was no evidence of that occurring, until recently when a shift in the water made the car visible. But according to the report, the vehicle had been plainly visible on a Google Earth photo of the area since 2007, but apparently no one had noticed it until 2019. In 1911, thousands of miles away from home, a British man by the name of Robert Falcon Scott sat at a table in his hut on Ross Island off the coast of Antarctica, making the final preparations for his race to the South Pole that he would lose to the Norwegians, and from which none of Scott's team would make it back alive. If you're like me, you look at this picture and wonder what has become of the hut since, what remains of Scott's polar base. His hut was rediscovered in 1956 when US explorers dug it out of ice and snow. The cold conditions have kept it in an eerily perfect condition, and Google Maps allows you to go inside and see the conditions Scott and his men would have been living in over 100 years ago. Now, this video would not be complete if I didn't include Pripyat, a town located in northern Ukraine, about 2 kilometers away from the infamous Chernobyl nuclear power plant. The power plant exploded in April of 1986 when its poorly designed fourth reactor suffered a huge power surge. Around 160,000 people were evacuated from the surrounding area, and there is now a 30-kilometer exclusion zone where it is illegal to live. The whole town is creepy, filled with sadness and death. However, the creepiest sight in the whole town has to be a room full of abandoned masks. I don't know if it's so disturbing because there are so many of them, or that they are child-sized and located inside an abandoned school. You can catch a breath, because we came to an end. There's been so much creepy stuff that I just couldn't put in one video. But if you want another video on the same topic, make sure to let me know in the comment down below. Anyway, I really hope you enjoyed watching this, and as always, don't forget to slap the like button, and of course, subscribe, because I wouldn't want you to miss any further content. Stay scared, friend. I will see you in the next one. Cheers.